Have you ever walked outside on a warm summer day and been greeted by an almost deafening chorus of buzzing insects? The sound can be so loud that it seems like the trees themselves are humming. Then, just as suddenly as they appear, the insects disappear again, leaving behind empty shells clinging to tree trunks and branches. Those noisy visitors are cicadas, and they're famous for one of the most unusual life cycles in the animal kingdom. While we only see them for a few weeks, the vast majority of their lives are spent hidden beneath our feet. Some species remain underground for an astonishing 13 or even 17 years before finally emerging all at once. But why would an insect wait nearly 2 decades just to spend a few weeks above ground? Is it simply growing slowly, or is there something much more clever happening beneath the soil? Today, we're digging into one of nature's greatest mysteries: why cicada nymphs live underground for years before emerging, right here, on History of Simple Things. The story starts high above the ground. After mating, a female cicada carefully cuts tiny slits into the branches of trees using a specialized egg-laying organ called an ovipositor. Into each slit, she deposits dozens of eggs. Over her lifetime, she may lay several hundred. After about 6 to 10 weeks, the eggs hatch into tiny, pale nymphs no bigger than a grain of rice. Instead of climbing upward like many insects, they immediately do the opposite. They fall from the branches to the ground. The tiny nymphs instinctively begin digging into the soil, disappearing beneath the surface within minutes. Once underground, they locate the roots of nearby trees and settle in for what will become one of the longest juvenile stages of any insect. Underground, cicada nymphs lead surprisingly quiet lives. Using straw-like mouthparts, they tap into tree roots and slowly drink xylem sap. This fluid contains water and small amounts of dissolved nutrients. It's not particularly rich in energy, so cicadas must feed continuously to obtain enough nourishment. Life below ground isn't glamorous. There are no dramatic hunts, colorful wings, or loud songs. Instead, it's a slow existence of feeding, growing, and molting. As they develop, the nymphs shed their exoskeleton several times, gradually becoming larger over the years. The soil also provides remarkable protection. Underground temperatures remain relatively stable throughout the seasons. The nymphs are shielded from storms, harsh weather, and many predators that would easily spot them above ground. It's like living in nature's own underground shelter. The biggest question remains: why 13 or 17 years? For a long time, scientists weren't entirely sure. Today, they believe several factors work together. The first is simple growth. Since tree sap contains relatively little nutrition, cicadas grow extremely slowly. They can't rapidly build the energy needed to become adults the way insects feeding on leaves or other insects can. But slow growth alone doesn't explain why these particular species evolve such remarkably precise schedules. That's where evolution enters the picture. Here's where things become truly fascinating. Both 13 and 17 are prime numbers. A prime number can only be divided evenly by 1 and itself. At first glance, mathematics might seem unrelated to insects, but it turns out to be one of their greatest survival strategies. Imagine a predator whose population peaks every 2 years. If cicadas emerged every 12 years, the predator's cycle would overlap frequently. 12 is divisible by 2, 3, 4, and 6, making encounters common. But if cicadas emerge every 13 years, those overlaps become much rarer. The same principle applies to predators with cycles of 3, 4, 5, or even 6 years. By using prime number life cycles, cicadas minimize the chances of synchronizing with predators that reproduce on regular schedules. It's almost as if evolution discovered a mathematical trick. When the big year finally arrives, something extraordinary happens. Millions, even billions of cicadas emerge within just a few weeks across enormous regions. This strategy is known as predator satiation. Birds, squirrels, raccoons, turtles, snakes, fish, and countless other animals eagerly feast on the sudden abundance of insects. Yet there are simply too many cicadas for predators to eat them all. Even after countless individuals are consumed, millions survive long enough to reproduce. It's a numbers game. Rather than hiding from predators one at a time, cicadas overwhelm them with sheer abundance. For predators, it's an unexpected feast. For cicadas, it's an incredibly successful survival strategy. Emergence isn't determined by a calendar. Instead, cicada nymphs monitor the environment around them. Scientists have discovered that they respond primarily to soil temperature. Once the soil about 8 inches below the surface reaches approximately 64 degrees Fahrenheit or about 18 degrees Celsius, the nymphs begin tunneling upward. Warm spring temperatures signal that trees have leafed out and conditions are favorable for adult life. Emerging too early could expose them to freezing temperatures. Emerging too late could shorten the already brief window available for mating and laying eggs. Their timing has been refined by millions of years of evolution. The next time you hear the unmistakable chorus of cicadas filling the summer air, remember that those insects are far older than they appear. Each one has spent over a decade patiently waiting beneath the ground, surviving on little more than tree sap, avoiding predators, and following a life cycle so precise that it even makes use of prime numbers. Their brief appearance isn't a random event, it's the grand finale of one of nature's longest and most remarkable childhoods. By emerging together after 13 or 17 years, cicadas dramatically increase their chances of survival, proving that sometimes the best strategy isn't to be faster or stronger, but simply to be patient. It's an extraordinary reminder that beneath every forest floor, incredible stories are unfolding long before we ever notice them. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.